I'm tired. And I still just don't feel 100%. So
I can't reach my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
Oh, the days where I'll be able to poop normally again. Those are the days right there. Not having to take my left leg out of everything.
I couldn't
kick it off.
imagine.
I got to take my shoe off. Got to take my leg out of my pants.
It's a process. God
it is a process. I don't even know what's going to happen when I go back to work.
I'm sorry. Stop wearing the shorts that you wear and wear some freaking pull-up jogging shorts. That would make your life easier.
I can't do
that.
that.
No, so Kevin has to wear the most like watching him in therapy is painful with these restrictive shorts. You know, these dicky shorts on.
The red caps.
Yeah, red caps. Oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
Let's not wear anything fucking comfortable. Let's wear the most restrictive fucking.
You gotta look cool, man.
Yes, that's in front of the 80-year-old women that are in there pedaling on bikes and making god-awful groaning noises.
Shake my ass in front of them ladies. Yeah.
That's great.
Awful.
I gotta figure out how in the hell I gotta change my name. I think I got our names mixed up. Oh my god.
It's all right. At least you put Jen on there. Last time it just said Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where is Jen? What is happening?
I don't fucking know. I don't know where she is. She's actually wandering around in the background like I'm at a freaking memory clinic at a freaking.
I thought I saw her a second ago wandering around the side. You know.
Oh, she's getting a pillow.
Well, I know your coffee, but I didn't hear you because they were asking me where were you because you literally were walking around like you're in a memory clinic. Like, where's I'm a telephone operator. Oh, come here, Jennifer.
Hi, Jen. She can't hear me yet.
No, she can't hear you yet.
No, I can't.
She didn't even take no. She should have done the whole show like that.
Probably best.
Why is he just talking to me? She must be in a bad mood. No, your fucking earphone's not in.
I'll pretend I'm watching a foreign movie.
Yeah, it's a foreign movie.
Oh, jeez.
I don't fucking know. All this shit.
Why we look so white?
Because we're white people.
No, like it's like.
You look white.
Yeah.
You need to get some sun.
You do. Yeah.
Ghost.
Turn it off.
Yeah.
Or point it tilted up.
Kevin and I look yellow.
You guys always have good lighting. Our lighting is it's mood lighting. It's very moody.
Des reached out to me and was asking me about a camera and microphone, for his channel. And then I'm like, did someone tell you your audio and video is bad? Like, no. And I'm like, it's fine. It looks good. I like how Des shoots. He shoots with that GoPro.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
I like that wider angle that he shoots with.
But I think it looks crisp.
Yeah, well, it's because he's shooting on a GoPro with 4K.
When he was asking about that stuff about his show, I just said, because he's always like fiddling around with it, and his sound was horrible, but now he has new earphones. He has new wireless earphones with a microphone, so he sounds 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
And he was asking about, it was actually, I think I made a general statement. It wasn't directed at him, but it was kind of like what we always talk about. Like, here's the studio, here's the camera, here's the lighting, here's the microphone. It's not, hey, I got to get this set up and I got to get that set up. And oh my gosh. And, because, some people have studios and you think that they just first time they walked in with their fucking laptop and no microphone. And, it's like, yes, what we're going to do today. And it's, and that's all I was telling him. And he's like, well, maybe I need to change things. And I was like, dude, you got to do what, is best for you.
Yeah.
But his microphone.
But I agree with what Kevin said though. So if no one's like, if it was like the sound, like you said, like that's fine. That's one thing. But if no one's like, oh, it's too dark, or I don't like that view, and like if enough people said that, then maybe rethink it. But if no one's saying that, it looks good.
Yeah, and it's
not really. When Kevin and I were doing it, people complained all the time about either a sound they heard or like a car driving by when we were doing it in the garage, or then when we came in here, it's too dark, it's too light, you're too far away. I mean, everybody said stuff.
And then his reviews are different than his lives. Obviously, he's not using his GoPro, and the GoPro does have a pretty good built-in microphone if that's what he's using.
Yeah, he was talking about live shows and stuff.
Yeah, he has live shows.
Yeah, because he literally doesn't have. He sits so far away and you can't hear him. And then I'm like, and then he finally got wireless earphones, and then with the microphone, he sounds 1,000 times better.
Oh yeah. I didn't have any issues with him when we were on with him the other night, and that's my biggest pet peeve of shows. If you're going to have a weekly show, and I understand, like I said, trying to figure it out over the first couple weeks or month, but man, after a while, get your shit together. Get a microphone, get figure something out, because it's not that expensive.
Yeah,
no,
it's really not. I mean, even for a live show, a Logitech, 1050 HD camera and a decent microphone, you're under $200 for a cheap setup. You don't have to have a $5,000, $10,000 setup.
But even $200 for someone who's starting out might be a lot of money.
Well, then you shouldn't do it.
That's not okay to say that. I mean, I don't agree with you on that. Yeah. I don't agree with that.
I do.
Okay, so with that,
why are you getting mad at me?
No, I'm saying with that being
because I'm trying to get the juices flowing, Jess.
So we get these kids that come in, they'll go to work for Tires Plus, and they'll show up on their first day, and then they don't have nothing. Like, where are your tools? Why? Didn't know I'd need tools. Well, fuck, do you think you were gonna be doing here, Skippy?
I feel like you need to be knocked off your a peg or two a little bit, because when you started, you had a lot of just nonsense shit that didn't make sense either, and you had to learn. So now you're gonna.
Well, does Tires Plus
be
tell
upset
you when you're hired you have to bring your own tools? Is it up front? Do they not supply it?
I mean, you gotta tell a nurse she needs to bring scrubs on her first day.
No, that's the uniform that is required that the hospital doesn't pay for. But they'll tell you if you have to provide your own stethoscope or whatnot. And just because you said nurse, that's generalized. So that's why it didn't bother me.
You get her.
No, I'm not saying you're
or
a nurse.
else we'll start talking about happy.
She said it doesn't matter. She heard nurse and she took it very personal.
I know you're not a nurse.
Yes, but she didn't hear that.
But no, seriously, does Tires Plus tell new employees, especially young kids, hey, we do not provide this?
Well, we should if we don't.
And also, you just said like young kids, right? How many young kids who are learning, who are going to school and do they just automatically have what you have that you built over the years?
They should though, because
maybe
they've
you
gone
should have like a little pack for them, Kevin.
But they've gone to mechanic school.
Well, that's it. I mean,
tools saying here.
Welcoming pack.
I know you're just starting off. To start them off on the right foot. Be a mentor.
Here's the
mentor.
They went to school
like that. Harry
so they would have had to have tools for school.
Some of them are just going to school.
But
They're not even done yet.
But even when I was desperately looking for a job when I was laid off, I actually went and interviewed to be a cable installer.
That was great.
I was like, it was great. I sat down. The guy looked at my resume and he puts it down. He goes, "Why are you here?" That was our interview. I'm like, because I need to work, man. And he goes, "Okay. Well, the first thing I got to tell you is you have to buy your own tools. You have to invest about $200 in your own tools." He goes, and that's, up front. He goes, and that's the first thing he said to me. If you're going to be a cable installer, you must have your own tools. I can direct you to the store that will put you in contact with all the different tools and that you will need, and then we will train you with your tools.
Right.
And I walked out and I went to Jennifer and we had a burger. And I said, I don't think I'll be installing. I'm broke. I can't buy tools. But he wasn't going to hire me anyways. It was just kind of like he's being super nice.
Well,
about
and
it.
I mean, I guess like, when I went to school for art and stuff, I knew I had to buy all my own supplies and stuff, but you're not really 100% prepared for how expensive that is.
Oh yeah.
So does that make me a shitty person because I couldn't afford to like buy all the supplies? So I had to like get inventive to finish my projects and stuff, but so I should know better, or I shouldn't do that.
Well,
because I was poor and I was trying to get educated.
That's
and
different.
Stuff. How is that different?
You could take off your sock and then create art.
No,
this kid can't take out a drain plug with a shoe.
You can't paint certain things if you don't have the right brushes and the right paint and stuff. Where was I pulling that out of my ass? Like, I'm just saying though, Kevin, like, you're being very judgy and like demanding that younger people, especially people who are maybe curious and they're just learning and they're just trying, should automatically know what the best stuff is. And if they don't even have $200, they shouldn't even do it. That's
he can't be that curious if he wasn't curious enough to ask if he needed tools for the job.
If you're going to dive into something, if you're going to dive into something, and we're not talking about, so yeah, you come as a mechanic, you don't need all of these tools that I have. You need your basic hand tools. And then, like Jen said, like the welcoming pack, when you come into my shop, the welcoming pack is like Luke introduces everybody to the new kid, and then he just points at me from across the shop and says, do your best not to piss that guy off. And that's what he says, because Luke says he's the best in the business. He is the best in our company at what he does. But if you piss him off, you're done. Like you can't work here and Kevin be mad at you and hate you. That doesn't happen. It'll last like 6 months.
Nothing
and
like
put
a little bit of pressure on the new young
kid.
Yeah,
that's it.
First job trying to earn a living.
And who doesn't? He's. I gotta like this guy. He don't like me.
Well, that's it. But with that being said, if you're going into something like cigar reviewing, or you want to create a cigar show, that is not something you're doing for a living. That's not something that you're depending on. That is an extracurricular activity. True. You know, you wouldn't show up to your first softball game in the church league and not have a ball, a mitt, just anything. You spend a little bit of money. So
no.
Yeah, so
no,
yeah.
because they're
1933.
Yes, right. I mean, obviously, I understand that, but then there are also sometimes people who can't afford things should never even try or experience something. Sometimes you have to like fake it till you make it. Like Kerr even said, he wasn't going to be installing cable because he didn't have the money, but like, he could have easily tried to fake it and said, "Oh yeah, I got." But
there's a big difference though between that though. I was willing to get. Let's start the show so we can pick this. We can pick up where this left off, because honestly, I do have a thought on that, Jess, and I do want to address the other things. Earlier,
perfect.
Because I'm going to agree with you, Jess.
Because you don't.
Nice, I'm going to.
Oh yay! Okay. I'm a winner.
At least at this side of the intro.
Yeah, for a second.
I thought you were going to do the Lars intro. So we're just going to do our intro?
Yeah, we'll just do our intro.
Oh, okay.
Lars got to do a new intro.
I already know what he's going to say.
I'm Bully Kevin.
I'm Bully Jess.
I'm Bully Kerr.
I'm Bully Jen.
And we are
the
Broadleaf Bullies.
We talk. You listen. We are the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Kerr, Jessie, and Jen.
Yes.
So happy anniversary. It's exactly
wow, they come right out of the gate.
1 year.
I just try to wake her up a little bit.
I know Jen jokes.
I was sound asleep in the chair. It was such. I can't tell you how busy today was.
I said we were playing the intro. I'm like, God, it's going to be the Kevin Kerr show because you and Jess are like dragging. So I figured we're going to come out of this.
So
I'm going to scream clear, and we come out of it, and Jess is going, and then another thing.
But today is exactly 1 year ago. We did our first show.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I know.
So
it feels like a lifetime.
So we're talking about careers, jobs, and being properly prepared for the job you're going to take. Yes, we talked about me being a cable repair guy or a cable installer guy, but I was going in fully understanding that I would need to get my own tools and then be trained to do so. I think what Kevin is saying too is you're not investigating, you're not just poking around out of curiosity to be a mechanic. A lot of these guys are going to school and they're going in for a career in mechanics. So I would think and I would hope that they would be prepared for that and have their tools. Showing up with no tools is, I I guess because I was around it my whole life. My dad, he was a mechanic. My grandfather. It's just kind of common knowledge. I'm not as harsh as what Kevin says, but
I just don't necessarily 100% agree with all of that. I feel like, yes, if they're going to school for that, yes, obviously they probably understand that they have to have all these tools. But then what happens if they're not making very much money while they're going to school to buy these tools, and they don't have parents who are just going to be like, here's everything you need. So therefore they have to work in order to pay for these tools. So if they're working in that environment to work on cars, but yet they're not getting paid very much, and they still can't really afford. And I know you're going to say they can rent tools or do the payment thing or not, or the payment thing or whatever, like where they buy.
Aaron's has a tool section.
Well, yes. Well, snap on, Matco, Matt. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like a lot of them are probably struggling a little bit. I don't think that they're trying to come in unprepared. I think that's an unfair statement.
My dad is a mechanic. You know what he would do? He'd say, okay, great. Here's your tool, and hand them a broom and say, start cleaning up. And that would be their job. And if they were dedicated and worked hard for a week at making sure everything was clean and still showed curiosity and was engaged, at that point in time, he would find a way to get them tools and help them out if they were really that poor.
Yeah. But the alternative is that you show up to a job with nothing, and then you have to borrow tools. You have to ask people, hey, I need this tool to. So
then, therefore, what you're saying is if you can't afford this, don't do this profession.
No, if you can't afford the basic hand tools.
But did you not hear what I just said?
Well, I know, but you didn't answer me. What's the alternative?
I don't know. Maybe with the schooling program, maybe there should be like where that's part of what you pay for to go to the school. Like they give you your starter tools. I mean, maybe it goes back to schooling.
Or they should be preparing them a little bit better if that's the case. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It maybe has to go back
and that they don't. These kids will go to school, then they'll show up for their first day, and then they don't know how to change oil. Literally, they don't know how to change oil. They're like, what are you learning in school?
But it's all fine and dandy that they're in school with this equipment that they don't have to worry about tools. It's all there for them, and then they walk out. So I'm thinking, it is kind of a little unfair to get mad at some of them, I think, when they really are not aware that that's how it works. I think there's still a level of naiveness when
next new guy that comes in, Kevin, ask him. Say, hey, did you know you had to bring your own tools?
Yeah.
Do they?
I'm just out of curiosity. I mean, I see where you're coming from too, but
because it's nothing more annoying than I'm sure when you're sitting there and someone wants to borrow one of your tools.
I agree.
I can imagine
it does, and then like me and the other senior tech Eric. Now we do trade tools occasionally, same as the other shop, like me and Robert and Jimmy. Because not everybody has all of the tools,
right?
And sometimes you just need a tool that you may only use 2 to 3 times a year.
But all of you guys trust each other. There's a big difference. You've built a rapport. You're not gonna just hand that tool.
Robert will come over to me. Hey, can I borrow that tool? It's like the one job this year I'm going to do. Because then the same thing. I'll get a job. It requires a special water pump tool, and it's like I'm not buying a $400 tool to use twice a year,
right?
And only make $150 on the job. It's like that's absolutely insane,
right? No, that makes sense. It's economics. I mean, it just.
But we do have a rule. If you've got to borrow a tool 2 or 3, 4 times, you need to buy that tool yourself. So
right.
Like every other week, I'm like, hey, can I borrow that? We just be like next time, and I've done it before. Next time, like the tool guy comes in, like I'll yell at him. I go, hey, Eric needs that water pump tool. Just go ahead and just bring that right in. And then Eric will look at me and I'm like, you need it. You need it. You know? And he'll be like
once a year.
Yeah, he's like, I know. But yeah, if it's like once a week.
But what I'm trying to say though is if somebody is interested in maybe just talking like even just in the cigar thing, right? Or gaming or whatever they're interested in, cars or whatever, and they want to like maybe start doing YouTube channels and all that stuff, and they don't have like the best camera or the best sound. I don't necessarily hate on anybody for that. I feel like it's a learning process.
Well, it's not hating on it because we started off that conversation with, doing a show and whatever else. And it's not hating on them. I've never, would ever hate on someone for that because they're passionate. It's what they want to do. Right.
Yeah. Right.
but when people ask me a question, I'm not going to say, hey, whatever you can afford. I'm going to give them the advice of something like what I did, which is don't shake your head. I can see your head shaking now.
I'm listening.
It's like her. That's what
I'm listening.
It doesn't matter though, because she does the same thing to me. I'll be talking and she'll be like, and I'm like, motherfucker, I know what the fuck that means.
Okay.
No, if someone says, okay, I want to start a YouTube channel, or I want to start doing reviews, or I want to do a live show, what am I going to need? It's like when I say, hey, I want to start a cigar company, what am I going to need? They're going to be like, well, listen, only what you can afford. I say, look, camera, microphone, because people need to hear you well, a camera so people can see you, and proper lighting, and a good spot where you can really reduce your outside noise. Now, when I started like everyone else. I started with a phone propped up on a box,
right,
with another phone playing music and a piece of paper in front of the camera as our intro, because that's what we had, because that's what I could afford. But I tell them, don't be like, I'm not going to mention names, don't be like someone who goes out and buys $500 worth of equipment, and then in 3 months you're disinterested in it. Mm-hmm. If it's something that you like and you find yourself doing more and more of it and you're passionate about it,
right, you
can slowly layer in the important things. Yeah. Yes, and everybody's got a phone. Everybody's goddamn phone works fucking great. It shows great.
Exactly.
Make sure you got a good microphone or a good headset so people can hear you. Kevin, we talk about all the time. Yeah. Especially if you're going to do a podcast or whatever. But that is most important. I didn't have lights in here. You know what I had? I had the mechanic lights, Kev, with the clip.
Yeah, oh yeah,
and the freaking silver top.
I still got one out in the garage. Yeah,
I had a couple of them.
But you also have you started doing this, both of you, as you were older in life. You've already have learned things and done things. Like someone who is like a very young person coming.
The same advice I give them, though.
No, I'm not talking about advice. I'm saying that they're going to probably do things that are going to drive you guys crazy because you've already learned so much and you already knew more. And I feel like sometimes I don't think you guys realize, like, it's not being mean. It's just sometimes it comes off a little like whatever. I don't have.
But that doesn't drive me crazy. What drives me crazy is when someone does have a show, and it's a pet peeve. I'll admit it. It's a pet peeve when someone has a show and they've been doing it for a while, but yet they're not investing in what really will enhance the viewers' pleasure.
I don't disagree with that, especially if they've been doing it for a while. But we weren't talking about that.
Yeah, well, especially when they have advertisers, they talk about, hey, we would like to thank, and it's like, what are you doing with that money? But I would like to expand on it a little bit. Yeah, I'd like to expand it on it a little bit. It's 2022, so. When Kerr
the world needs silent green. I'm sorry.
Get your buddy bundle.
It's natural now.
So when Kerr first started off, obviously YouTube was around. Kerr's not that old, but it wasn't as much information as it is today. So if you want to start off a gaming channel, or if you want to start off as a podcast, you go to YouTube. You can go to Think Media. They have probably 50 different videos hold on a second. No,
let me say something, because you are so much of you're an intellectual that way. Some people are not methodical like you and don't even know where to start.
You don't need to be an intellectual for that.
So I feel
if you want to start a podcast,
passion,
and you don't know how to do it,
passion,
and you can't Google how do I start a podcast? No, you shouldn't start a podcast. You're going to fail.
But that was not even
back when I started
at all.
But
and
back
this
when
turned into something totally and not even what
I'm just saying. Let me finish
yes,
for one.
Go ahead, Kevin.
So you can go to Think Media and they have 50 different videos on, literally 50, because they have thousands of videos on best microphones under $25. They have best lav mics under $10. They have best webcams under 100. So if you want to, it's 2022. If you want to start anything that requires you being on YouTube or you being on the internet, you have no excuse for poor sound and poor video. Because like Kerr said, everybody has a phone. You either have a Galaxy or you have an iPhone. If you have a newer model, you're shooting in 4K. So video, take that out of it. Take that out of it. Everybody has great video. So when you're talking about lighting and sound, like Kerr said, you get a drop light, you get a lamp, you angle it, you do right, but you watch the videos on how to set it up properly. And even on a budget, people should be able to hear you and they should be able to see you clearly because it's 2022 and that knowledge is out there because of guys like Kerr and I that have been doing this. And we tell people what to do.
I gotta have like a little hand raising one.
I'm done. I'm done now.
But no, and here's the other thing too, is when I started, and it wasn't like eons ago, but it blows my mind what's available for a plug and play show now that was not available then. I mean, 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, we just did Facebook Live. You know, there was YouTube Live and whatever. I don't even know if it was live back then. I can't remember. I mean, but when I upgraded, I did a lot of research and I found that, because he had to pay for everything. And again, we didn't have the money for that. So I got OBS was a software that was free that allowed me to do more with the show, connect with Facebook, but it was very complicated. Now it's like, I mean, effing StreamYard is free.
And it's on mobile now.
It's on mobile, but it's like, if I would have had StreamYard back then, it would have been awesome. But you could get StreamYard free, and all you have to do is enter in your username, your password, and go start a broadcast, enter studio, and it's like, oh shit, all I gotta do is just upload a picture. All I gotta do is upload this. It is really dumb. I don't want to say dummy down, but it's just made things easier and less expensive to do a show or a whatever you want to do. And from there, it's up to you just to make sure that you just have some of the basics. And realistically, to have a really good show, and when I say not content, I'm just saying a good show, you need camera, microphone, lighting. Really, that's all you need. And you can, I have it over there on my desk. I bought Five Below. I bought a $5 freaking arm that freaking I can tighten on my desk. It's got this big freaking bendable arm, and my phone sticks in it. That's what I use for my phone. It was a $5 investment. Duncan and I used to use my microphone. We plug it in the bottom, and we let it sit in front of us so it could pick up both of our voices in order to use that instead of unplugging it and going through the phone. So I don't hate on anybody. I always want to be able to help people, and trust me, I went over joking around and bust Kevin's balls a little bit, but the advice and the help that he's given so many people who are getting into doing this is just invaluable. And at the end of the day, I also think that without that advice, all you got to do is Google. That's it. And from there, it's you can start upgrading. You can save up for a good microphone. I mean, I got this microphone. This is the second microphone I ever bought. My first one was a Yeti that was on the sale rack at Best Buy for $80. And I used that till it died. And we got this all set up for $120 on Amazon. But we didn't have the money. So I found other ways to use a microphone. I actually bought a speaker that they use for conference calls that you lay down flat.
Oh yeah.
I used that for a while. I plugged it into my computer, and I had a pole, an arm that I actually bought at a yard sale, and then I had like a piece of wood, and I attached it to the back so no one could see it. Then I had like
You MacGyvered it.
I MacGyvered it, and I had something funny in front, like my Stogie Road cigar logo, so people couldn't see that I was using this freaking table microphone. I did what I had to do in order to get good quality sound.
Nice.
So how was your weekend?
Just like, shut up, Kerr.
No, all I know is that went way past anything I was even talking about, and Kevin got super pissed for no reason.
He's passionate.
And I just find it so fucking mind-blowing
passionate.
ridiculous
lighting
that
and
whole
audio.
conversation became.
Look,
Anyway.
it all started because Jen looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost because our lighting was
It
off.
did. Yeah.
It's not Jen's fault.
And exactly.
guarantee
You know what?
that.
Proper lighting.
It was Kerr's fault because he had that tilted way down, like pointing directly at me.
I wanted everybody to see how beautiful you were.
Thank you. So tell us about
Are.
the Great Smoke. How was the weekend?
Sucked. It was fun. We had a blast.
Oh my God, Kevin! I don't even know what is wrong with you.
I broke through the bottom of the foot on my crutch. So the metal
balls in the bottom.
So the metal piece came through the foot. So at the morning of Great Smoke, that happens.
So yes, that was the crisis of the whole time.
Yeah.
No, the
Is
whole
there no pharmacy around or anything to buy a new rubber stopper for the bottom?
whole trip
nipples.
Is that what they're
very
called?
it was very taxing, mostly on me than anything. And if you deny that, then we have real problems.
I'm just saying it was taxing on me because I was the passenger in the vehicle.
Did
Jessica
Kevin have to
zipping in and out of lanes.
pop in your backpack and you had to carry him around like Yoda?
I don't think we expected, neither one of us, I think, were even remotely prepared for how challenging it would be with him on crutches.
Yes.
Being said, it was still
a scooter for him.
So no, that's not even the point. The point is like when you go to any kind of events or go to any of this, it is too much. It's too much standing. It's too much, crowd. It's like, it's not really accommodating for someone who's on a crutch, like in a small space. Then you go to the Great Smoke and it was massive, but it was still set up in a way where it was challenging for him to get anywhere. It's like we couldn't even get near the tables because there was no way he could have navigated it.
Right.
So, but at the end of the day, that wasn't even like, it was just hard to step back and actually be spectators and like not really have a purpose at that point. Cause like we weren't going to film and we weren't there, as vendors.
Couldn't socialize properly.
And no, not at all. And it was like, it was frustrating. I'll admit it. Like it was frustrating. I think we both handled it
overwhelming.
I think it underwhelming for us because we handled it in a way where we were kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like, we just stepped back.
Yeah, we wanted it to be more than we were able to make it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was fine. I mean, I was willing to like do whatever he needed me to do, but to be honest, I could tell that he was just so like disappointed for himself, like not disappointed in the event. The event was amazing, just that we couldn't do what we set out to do.
Well, I can imagine it. I saw how mobile you guys were when we were in Tampa and everything that we did together and Kevin going off and doing his thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine
it was very
being
stealthily
on crutches because you can't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then even if you want to participate at the basic level of being just someone there to enjoy and meet people, you can't even get in that area. You almost have to take the next step down.
Oh, it was definitely one of those things. And don't get me wrong, it was nicer too though, because then we were able to go and like talk to some of the people we really wanted to talk to and like really, and then people came up to us, which was nice. And some people even said that they didn't want to come up to us because they thought like it was intruding because we looked like uncomfortable. And I was thinking, oh, it showed that we were a little uncomfortable because we were trying to find and stay out of the way a little bit.
That's kind of a big red flag.
It was like we were trying to stay out of the way. Kind of, like not be in the way. And
I could see that.
So it was just a weird balance. But when we went to Smoke Inn and Boynton, it was just such a lovely crowd. Like it's always so nice. It was nice just to go there and be able to relax and sit and like enjoy a cigar with people and catch up. The Great Smoke was amazing. I'm so happy for the people that have never been or have gone previously and enjoyed themselves. That was cool, but it was still a weird, like in between for me and Kevin anyway, as not being vendors and then not even really being media.
Yeah.
We were just kind of, I don't think we knew how
fucking
we didn't. Yeah, we do, but we didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't really know what to do. It was like a fish out of water type of feeling. So
even that morning of the Great Smoke, we got up at whatever 8:30, went and had some breakfast, and I didn't get my first cigar. until like 6 o'clock that night, 6:30.
Like I couldn't. Yeah, we couldn't. I smoked one cigar at the Great Smoke.
Yeah, well, because it's almost impossible to smoke and then get around on crutches. And it was just, we were moving around because we were visiting people. Yeah. So for me to try and smoke and then crutch and then have it in my mouth.
Just even trying to eat. Like,
I'm
trying to hold his plate. Like
I should have had one. I should have rented one.
Yeah, but even if you did that, it still would not have navigated the Great Smoke properly. It wouldn't have mattered. It would have still been.
So was it just like booths everywhere?
No, it's hard to explain.
Oh yeah, you didn't watch it. I was watching it with Daryl.
Yeah.
So like you walk in and they had this cool like foyer of like the different like Hawaiian, I guess. I don't even
statues and tikis.
Yeah, tikis and stuff. So then you come in and then the doors open and it's like a huge event space, right? And so to your right was like where the food was.
It was like Tampa, but inside.
And then to the left was like some booths, and then you walk like straight ahead was all of the tables, and then the VIP section and the stage, and then off further to the left was you go through like another part of the event space was all of the cigar makers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the back was like the bathrooms and some other little vendors, but it just was, it was so massive. It was like the biggest space they've had yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was new for us too, because it wasn't like, the space from prior.
Yeah.
And it was just like trying to get into that area where the seating was impossible. It was not happening. It was never going to happen.
Do you think were there?
God,
there was probably 2,000 people there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was.
I was a crowd
awesome.
Person. That would have been.
No, it was. You weren't crowded. Trust me.
I mean, it was
awesome.
It was a massive event center. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't crowded like Ybor City was crowded.
No,
like it wasn't close. Not even close.
Not like in the capacity wise. I mean, like there was probably just as many people, but like it was.
Yeah, I mean,
more spread out.
Probably all of Ybor City Cigar Festival could have fit twice over.
Yeah.
In this
absolutely.
In this event space.
And then they still have the outside part of the event space that they had, and that's
that
where
you can go out and relax.
When we first got there, that's where they were doing like characters, like drawings and stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw caricatures.
And then Guy Fieri was there doing his signing, and they had probably some other stuff. I'm not sure. But we went outside for a little while just so Kevin can prop his leg up. And that was nice. We saw a lot of people, too, just from that. So, it was different because we just didn't know what our next step was at that point. It was like we knew it was going to be challenging, but we didn't realize how challenging.
Yeah.
So it was a good learning experience for us, too, because like we do rely on each other in some ways, but Kevin can go off on his own and do his own thing. And I think I stayed close to him because I felt bad, like I was ditching him if I went and did any footage or anything. So I just stayed. It was just like, all right, we're just not going to do anything. Like we're just going to, talk to people and stuff. So we hardly took any pictures or anything. It was like the weirdest feeling not to, honestly. But it was hard.
But it was nice that, we did have quite a few people come to us. They picked us out of a crowd. They wanted to talk. They wanted photos, which was nice.
No, that was fun. But I just think, thinking back on it now, like if I really kind of had an idea of what it would be like, I would have maybe planned a little differently of how we would approach things. But you don't know because we were never been in that situation before.
Yeah.
So that was, there was people there that I knew were going to be there and I never even saw them. And they were like, I never saw you either. And I'm like, I don't know how we missed each other.
Yeah, we never saw Paul DeGracco.
Well, he was doing the live and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, him and Kim were walking around.
I did see Kim
in
the beginning, and I talked to her right before they were letting everyone in. But yeah, it was like, just, it was humbling, I guess, more for Kevin than anything, because that was hard for him to.
Now, would you prefer to be a vendor or just do media?
To be honest with you, now that I think about it, like I loved being a vendor. At first, you asked me the first time I ever did it, I would have told you no, because I was ready to throw up and like leave. But like it's fun because you interact with pretty much everyone, because they all come up to your booth.
Yeah.
So, as far as that was fun. Like, but I don't want to be a vendor because we don't, it's. Like, really, what would we be vending now? Anyway?
I would have preferred to be there as a real media person than a vendor, because the only downfall about the vendor, I mean, the whole event is only about 4 hours long,
Right.
4 to 5 hours. So as a vendor, like, there's always lines at your booth. Yeah. You're always talking to people, and then you can't get out. So it was nice that we were able to.
Right, don't let him fool you. Anytime we have been vendors, he surely ditches me.
I do ditch her.
I am the only one there doing all of it.
But it was nice to be able to go and like Terrence Riley, like picked us out and then chatting with us. And
I'm not gonna lie, the highlight of my day was meeting Sebastian from Cavalier.
Yeah,
I was like. Had no idea he was going to be there. I don't think I paid attention to who was actually going to be there as far as the cigar makers. And I was like, that was awesome because I didn't expect it. So that was really cool. And then getting to meet Bradley Rubin in person was really neat, and
it was just cool just to hear like the manufacturers, like Bradley and Terrence Riley, 2 of them, just to look at us and say, we're proud of you. Like, we're proud of what you guys are doing.
Kevin needs to be told.
I do because you know how it is.
He needs the pat on the back.
But it's like you put in all of this hard work and then
he's being recognized.
A lot of times at the end of the day, it's it's like, does anybody even notice? Does anybody care what we're doing? And then to hear them say that,
I don't need it as much though, Kev, because you got to figure. I grew up and I was raised by a guy who I fucking named a cigar after him and made a big deal about it.
Still not good enough, Gary.
I made a cigar for him. I freaking made a big deal about it. I presented him with the first box and he goes, yeah, when are those Lanceros coming out?
Yeah, the Lanceros.
So growing up the life of never getting any positive feedback, you got to find it anywhere you can. So
here's a funny story. These two guys came up to Kevin and wanted a picture, and Boofy was over there. So I was like, this perfect moment for them to get a picture too with Boofy, and so I was like, everybody get in, whatever, I'll take a picture. And there's plenty of room, right? Like there's plenty of room of people to see that I'm taking a photo to go around me. And so this guy, he must have been fanboying whoever he saw, because he was all like, and I'm like trying to take a picture. He just walks in. I'm like, what the fuck? Just, don't mind us. We're just trying to take a picture here. And that was Matt Booth was like, like, is she going to kill this guy? I was just like, and then a little kid did the same thing. And he looked at me like, is she going to yell at this little kid? I thought that was like the funniest moment. I was telling Kevin, I was like, that was actually pretty funny.
There were kids
like,
there?
That was the only. I don't know where
there was a couple little kids.
No.
Was there?
Just a road.
There was a couple.
No.
I only saw the one. Was there a couple?
There was a couple, but they stopped somebody from letting them come in, and then I think that was like briefly because they were leaving. They weren't there very long at all. I think it was because it was someone's child that.
And like little by like what 5, 6?
No, had to be. It was a girl. She had to have been like 6 or 7. Like ran by me, but I wasn't. I was like, oh, it's a little kid, But then I'm thinking, why is there a little fucking kid in here? Yeah. But whatever. It was. I think they were just getting them and going because that was at the end of the event. It was like closing up. So I think
that was like 10 minutes before
literally
the end
like
of the
when
event,
it was closing. So it wasn't. But I think Matt was like, oh my god, is she gonna kill this little kid? And I was telling Kevin, I was like, oh my god, it was funny. I was like, I actually saw a little fear in his eye of me. I was like, who knew I could be that scary to Matt Booth?
That's funny. Yeah, I could imagine. I when I did pharmaceuticals, we were vendors at big events like that, and we would, get there and stuff was set up, but then we'd have to get the tables. You'd spend the whole day on your feet talking to people. It's and then afterwards you got to clean up, and it's exhausting. Even doing like a cigar event. I've done cigar events at shops. It's exhausting, and like you said, Kev, and then it's completely different than when you're there as media. It's a different. It's tiring because it's a lot of work, But I just know that doing the vendor thing is just like when it's brutal. We did training for the new hires many years ago, and we went to Denver and we kind of alternated the days, and I would spend the whole day training, talking and teaching in front of everybody. And at the end of the day, I just want to sit down. I didn't want to talk to anybody because you talk to so many people and you're talking so much throughout the day that in the evening, I just want to sit there and drink a beer and just grunt.
Well, yeah, that's why we didn't go to the after party at the other smoke in. We just went back to Boynton Beach because we knew it was going to be quiet. For anybody who never has done the event, experience it all. They should do all the after parties and all that stuff because it's fun. But for us, we've done it. We just, we were like, we don't need to do this. And it was nice. We just went there and relaxed. We ate, we smoked a cigar. I had some coffee. It was just nice. Because it was quiet.
Next year. You gotta,
yeah, you should definitely go next year.
This year kicked around, but after getting sick and it being so close afterwards, I was like, I don't know about that. A little too close and still,
Actually, I will say 100%. It was very well spaced out.
It looked it.
It really was. Like that event space, I can't even put into words how ginormous it was. I mean, it was huge.
We watched it live from at Daryl's house. Live from Daryl's house, like Daryl. And it was quite impressive, the size, and I was impressed with how they had it spaced out. And it didn't look like it. I was really expecting it to be like a mob scene, like freaking. I thought Tampa, when we were down there, at some points it was a mob scene.
Yeah.
With just how many people.
When we were outside waiting to get it, when the VIP was getting ready to be let in, and then General gets let in, I'll say that at times that space where people were waiting in line, I wouldn't have. There's no reason to try to be first. I mean, some people want to be first. That's fine. I am not. I was not about we were not standing in that line. We sat outside. Like, we talked to Jason and Rebecca Falkenberger and Boston Jimmy and stuff, and we just hung out there. It was nice. Like, then Shirtless Mike came up, and then the Iconic Smokers came up and did some stuff. So it was just nice. It was nice to not be in that intense crowd of people.
No. Even going the first time, there's no way I'd wait in line and want to be first for whatever. I mean, I just, you can wait in line like that for an hour and be first, or you can wait for 3 hours and still freaking meet the person.
And it wasn't really that hot out, so that was nice.
Yeah.
So it was like not stifling, but I can imagine if we were congregated like some of the people were, that they were warm, and I was like, no, I'll stay over here. This is fine.
Jen was pissed though.
And it was nice because where we parked, when we got our swag and stuff, we just went and put it back to the car, and it was easy access. So that was nice. That was different from the other previous event space because you would have had to walk.
I wouldn't want to lug around all that shit.
No, we a lot of people did that. And the one thing I will say that a lot of people were saying, because since we had never done this, we had always been vendors, so we wouldn't have known this, that they do like a tailgating thing, but it's not advertised to do that. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's this big cool thing that they do right before it even starts.
Oh, I can see that.
People meet up and they do a little herf together and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's the guys there that said it was like at 7-8 o'clock in the morning. But
still, how cool was that?
I would have liked traveling a distance.
I would have liked to have maybe known more about that. And I don't know if that's not really I guess what smoking needs. It's not their thing because that's not something that they are like, hey, everybody come to surf. They don't put that on. It's just people who want to come early.
It just happens. It's
but I think it would be kind of cool. I would think it'd be kind of cool if Smoke In was like, hey, this don't forget if you get early, there's probably going to be people, tailgating, herfing together. That would be a fun thing to do. I think that would have been fun for us to do.
Able start selling tickets to the tailgate.
Yeah, right. No, don't charge people for that.
Yeah, sell tickets and then at the end, you bought a ticket. It was free.
It was free. It's just you had to park. So Jen was pissed because she saw the picture of Guy Fieri.
Yeah,
and she's like, they didn't get his autograph for me, and I'm like,
you don't even want to know what that was like.
I could only imagine. She's like, they know I'm a foodie. They know I love.
It wasn't even about that. Let's just put it this way: when it was our turn to get up there, it was already a mess because the credit card machine wasn't working. So he was sitting there, and then all of a sudden, all these people who weren't in line were just coming up and trying to take photos with him. So finally, then they were like, let's just keep having him sign boxes. So that kind of ruined the experience of buying the box and then bringing it to him and him signing it. It was already fucking signed for some people. So it was like, I felt so bad for a lot of people because I don't think it was the right experience. It just
you want to see him sign your box, take a picture, and move on. That's
and it was they only announced it the day prior that he was actually going to be there signing the boxes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so there was no one-on-one time. Like I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
It was cool.
Yeah. He was at Miami that later that day.
Yeah, it was cool to go up and then he stopped and did the picture and all that stuff, and then he signed the box, and then he signs a sticker, and Espinoza did too, and it was cool, but it definitely was not the environment I think that they were trying to shoot for.
Yeah, my box was already pre-signed.
Yeah, but he came and then he held it up and was like, which was cool.
Like one of those as he's signing someone else's box.
Yeah,
like hey, here,
But everybody at that point, the machine was like, I mean, I could tell like they handled themselves well. Abe's team handled themselves well. They were calm. They can't control technology. They were trying. They had other staff coming over that was trying to troubleshoot what was going on. It happens, know. I mean, it happens. But it's funny because Ronnie walked up and was like, "How do I get a free cigar?" And then somebody laughed, and then of course, Jack hands him a free cigar, and he's like, "That's how you do it." And I'm like, Ronnie, it was just funny because he's saying that all in front of Guy Frere, and he's probably just looking at this guy like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah, so there was no chance of getting any one-on-one.
And if anybody did, it was prior. It was set up prior.
Yeah.
And they maybe had some exclusives, and I know he was doing some interviews, and good on them. But honestly, I think it's going to be hard for anyone to get a real interview with him. I think it's going to be very specific, timed out things, and that is it. And that's all people are going to have to. No one extra is getting anything. No one small is getting anything. It's just not going to happen.
Had a napkin handy, been like, "Hey, our friend Jen."
Yeah, I know. I mean, honestly, if you
sign this
we went up to him, we could have probably went up to him and got him to sign something. But it was just so chaotic at that point because of the issue with the credit cards not going through and stuff. I think that really threw them all for the whole team.
Fuck your whole day up.
Oh yeah,
because they were like, and then all of a sudden, other people I'm not kidding. All these people just started coming up and trying to get pictures, and they were doing selfies with him. And it's like, well, are you in line? Like we were in line. Like, how are you all the way up here? They didn't care.
Yeah. And then I've reached out to him. And like I said, I'm sure he has a social media team. So when you message him on Instagram or Twitter, he's never seeing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But like I said, trying to get him on our show, I had mentioned, I'll go, we do Monday nights at 7:30, but I go, we'll do a show whenever. I go, whatever day and time is good for you. If it's a Tuesday at noon,
you gotta think,
I will make it work.
How many people are wanting a piece of him? It is not going to happen. That's why
he's the highest paid Food Network. Chef right now. It's just ridiculous what he's getting paid.
Right, but 100% know that it is all already strategic, planned out. That is it. He is not doing any random interviews
because he doesn't.
Happening.
Because he doesn't need to sell to sell whatever he sells: cigars, hats, flip-flops.
Yeah,
whatever. He doesn't need that. No. People know if you follow him, you know what he has, and you get to buy it. He's only doing interviews or something, either as a paid endorsement, or it's for a friend. It is for if Eric Espinoza, I'm like, Eric, please, you owe me, which Eric doesn't owe me anything.
No,
but he's like, can you get me anything? And that's why it's like, I will take anything and I will make it work.
Can't stop you from saying you owe me. I mean, it always sounds good, right?
No, it does never sound.
And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I do." What the fuck do I owe that guy again?
I don't think Eric would. I don't think that's his style. He'd be like, "Fuck, I do."
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna be like, I just made a cigar for you. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Yeah, technically,
And I put you on the map, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah.
No,
He'd be like,
Kevin,
technically,
you're
you
welcome.
still owe me. You know,
right.
so.
But no, I honestly, like, at all, like, fun aside, it would be cool, obviously, for anyone to be able to sit down and interview Guy, but it's just not going to happen.
It's not.
And if it does, kudos to anyone who gets that. But it is a well-oiled machine, and I don't think they deviate, not one bit.
It will also depend on. I mean, realistically, I can't speak for a guy who makes that much money, but if you made a cigar because you really do love cigars and you love the cigar industry, you'll find a way to actually get a little bit more entrenched in that industry.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? And find a way to do it, much like going to the Great Smoke at the last minute and getting the announcement.
Yeah,
so
I definitely think
there is some hope there. I mean, I'll say hope for the show, but I'm saying in general, because there's some folks that want to create something like you read about all these celebrities that have vodkas and tequilas, and they don't really endorse it hard.
Right.
They just, it's a passion of theirs. They just want to kind of stay in the background, but this isn't really a stay in the background environment. It isn't.
Yeah, but I agree. Like,
especially when your name's on it.
But there's a couple times we've been involved where there's a celebrity involved, and it's always in the background. They're always in the background. And I think the same thing is going to be for Guy. It's like he'll do a couple of appearances, but I don't think he's ever going to entrench himself in the everyday cigar smoke.
It depends on his passion, and also depends on his schedule.
Time.
And that's the big thing, because talking with Eric and Jack, this was over a year. I mean, he was involved in every single process of this cigar. Like, it wasn't anything that, because him and Eric Espinosa are friends. They're good. They're really, really good friends. So, it wasn't like Eric's like, hey, you want to make a cigar together? Here's a cigar, put your band on it. Like, from everything, Guy was one. So he really is into.
No, I'm not saying
cigar.
He's not into cigars.
Oh yeah,
I'm just saying I can't imagine the time frame for him.
Oh,
I cannot imagine him being able to spend too much time. Really,
he's not a retired athlete with some time on his hands,
right? I cannot.
Right
now, he's active.
A big deal. He's got 15 million different shows. He's got he's traveling all over the place.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I mean, he's traveling so much, it probably wouldn't take him much to go on a balcony and do a show with the I Tap That cigar show. I mean, while he's out traveling, it wouldn't take.
Yeah, that's not too much to ask.
I'm just saying.
But like I said, I mean, if he could give us 30 minutes.
Yeah, but you know how much. Everybody wants a piece.
Everybody wants 30 minutes.
Everybody
wants 30 minutes.
They're
Everyone
like
wants
begging.
to be on I Tap That.
Yeah, and then everybody in the industry wants him on his show.
Oh, everybody.
Like everybody that has a cigar show wants him
or
on
any
the show.
Cigar media, anybody who does a blog. Anything,
I mean,
totally jump at this.
Well, I
get it.
Luckily, I do have a couple of ins, so
Kevin,
I do have a leg up on others in the industry.
Stop.
But with that being said, there are people that are more
qualified.
No, not qualified. Thanks.
Well, you're really boasting on yourself, and I think you can just take a.
I'm not boasting. I'm just saying I've got friends of him, so that could get me that.
They're in the same circle.
But there are people more famous than that are more. I don't want to say legitimate, but
right. He would like for example, he could go on Jimmy Fallon to promote his cigar.
Oh, absolutely.
Versus the I Tap That.
Absolutely.
Yeah. However,
I get it.
I'd rather go on I Tap That if it was.
Listen, that's fine. That's all. I'm not doubting your skills.
If you wanted to reach 10 million people or 10,000, what are you going to do? Yeah. So
go to 10,000.
Yeah.
It's more laser focused. I mean, it's 10,000 cigar smokers versus 10 million, just viewers want to watch Jimmy Fallon say stupid shit.
But here at the end of the day, too, though, it's like, I would hope that people would want to interview him because they truly, genuinely like his character, are interested in his cigar, like things about him, rather than they know it's just going to be for good views.
And I don't care about his career. Which I do, but I want to talk about this. I want to know like where that, like Kerr and I always ask at the beginning of our shows, what's your story?
Right.
What's your
No,
cigar story?
you
know, and
but there's definitely going to
yeah.
be people out there that are probably going to get like an interview with him or some kind of exclusive.
I like to dig a little bit deeper into everything.
Right, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like I think it's not going to be. It's not really going to matter because it's like, hey, now I got this, so hey, check out my channel type.
He's an interesting guy. I mean, when we went to go see Alton Brown, honestly, I would love
The Q&A was awesome.
love to interview him. That guy is just so fucking interesting.
And down
yeah,
he's
oh, he
so
is
charismatic.
and
I
he's
asked
smart.
him,
He's so smart.
His
I
wife
asked
was
him.
with them. She was answering questions, and they were like 6
How
feet
cool.
from us.
I asked him. I
That's
said,
cool.
I said, hey, Guy Fieri just came out with a cigar brand. I said, do you have any plans for kind of going in that direction or other directions and deviating from the food? And he's like, nah. He goes, I enjoy a cigar from time to time. He goes, but he said, I don't really. He goes, he said something to the effect of, I don't like to get into areas where he's not the
knowledgeable one, like the one
Yeah,
who knows
he's
everything about it.
Yeah,
Like passion, like
a passion.
For him, it would be gin or
what he said was that he doesn't want to get into something that he can't get fully in depth with passion about. He doesn't just want to put his name on something and just sell it. He said that, but he did say, like Jen said, he did say that the one area that he would consider getting into is gin because he loves gin.
That's neat.
Yeah, and that's the reason, like Matt Booth, Room 101, he could have put any alcohol. Bourbons and whiskeys are popular.
Yeah, gin.
But he's a gin guy. He likes gin. So he took the one alcohol that maybe is not as popular, but that's what he was passionate about.
He said, though? He had the best fucking line. He's like, he goes, every liquor has had its moment. He goes, whiskey, he goes, I knew gin was going to be the next boutiqueified alcohol. And Daryl looked at me and he goes, he's cool as hell.
Yeah.
He said boutiqueified.
Yeah.
Boutiqueified. That is cool. Well, Jen, now you'll have to be on the lookout for like an event with Guy somewhere in the cigar world.
He was honored at a food and wine festival in Miami Beach at the Lowe's Hotel. Yeah. Because later that night was the pictures of him with like all the
we saw it.
The crowd of chefs.
That's why he was on a very tight schedule at the because he had to leave there and drive to Miami.
What was that?
I want to see Alton Brown in Greenville.
What else was really cool is
I think it's tonight.
Oh,
or it was yesterday.
Sorry. We found out late, that, some guy's like, hey, oh God, Kevin, I don't know if I told you this. I'm sorry, Jess, but this guy was like, hey, do you take gifts, during his Q&A? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, fuck, because we had cigars and stuff, but I didn't want to be the second dick to be like, hey, I got a gift for you now. But this guy gave him a bag. And it was a bracelet, and on it had Soylent Green.
Oh yeah, yeah. You had. I think you mentioned that.
I can't remember if I did not. But yeah, now I'm like, I'd like to go see him in Greenville and be like, and give him some cigars.
Give him something. That would be cool. That would be cool. We when we bought a box, Gary Brooks, a friend of ours, also had a box, but it was the different. We had the.
I chose the Habano,
and he had the
Maduro.
So we went and got our box, and we gave him two, and he gave us two of his, so we could at least try the other as well. So that was really cool. That was a cool experience too, like to be able to be like, hey, let's swap with a friend, but like it's two cigars, Guy Fieri cigar, but it's two different kind of cigars. So now we get to try both, which is cool.
Yeah, we met that couple from the Shafiat collection. Their cigars,
they are the world's like nicest.
And she like her mom her mom lives in the hometown of Ron White.
Yeah.
So she was and he's a cigar smoker. So she just kept she saw that he was there. Yeah, his people said, "Oh, mail it here. We'll make sure he gets the package." And she didn't want to, and so she walked up to his house, and there was someone pulling out of the driveway, and she had a package she was like going to leave in the mailbox, and or on the front stoop, and they asked her what she wanted. She's like, is Ron White here? And he's like, yeah, he's just sitting up on the porch.
Yeah.
So she went up on the porch, and he's in like his jammies. Just sitting there smoking a cigar, and she went up there and talked to him and presented him with some cigars.
That's great.
Yeah, I love everything that their cigar company represents because they also, donate proceeds to help human trafficking. So like it was really cool to meet.
Okay. So as a note,
You didn't help it.
Prevent.
What did I say?
You said to help with human trafficking.
That's not what I meant.
What company's that again?
Yeah, they're against it.
Wow.
So yeah,
I can't believe that's what I said.
I didn't even know this. I'm like,
I was waiting for it to stop, and then Kevin caught it.
I didn't even know that.
Because that's a big passionate project of Jessica's. It's human trafficking.
Yes, apparently no, which is like
I guarantee it's going to be. On the promo.
Yeah.
Kevin will not do that to me because he does value his life. There is limits to how far he can push.
That's not the limit.
But no,
unlike Jessica, they're against.
Yes.
Which company is this? That's for it.
Shafiat.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have the See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil cigars. I think you might have seen that. I've smoked a couple and done like some stories about it and stuff, especially when January was for, helping with fight against sex, human trafficking.
You have a very large accommodating van.
Yeah.
If you look at Kerr's Rabbit Air, it looks like it's on fire.
I know it does look like it's on fire. Whole time. Yeah. But yeah, so I just
that's sucking and smoking.
It was cool to meet them, and it was really and she also had she just had a baby like 4 months ago, and she looked fantastic. I was like, Jesus. I was like, to look like that after having a baby after 4 months. Jesus. But she was really, really funny, and he was really nice, and it was cool to meet them. And then I met
they help fight against.
Yes. To be clear, they help
fight against.
Not for it.
And then the other couple.
So we were talking to these people from Colorado, and I was like, they were like, oh, what part of Colorado? Kevin had told them I had went to my friend's wedding in Colorado. And they're like, oh, what part? And I was like, it's a weird town. Like, and I was looking at the pictures, like to make sure I was saying it right. And I was like, oh, it's Palmer Lakes. And they're like, shut up. Like that's where they're from. Like, and it's got like 1,400 people total.
Yeah, Jessica pulls out a picture. She goes, do you recognize this bridge?
Like, and she's like, I live right across the street from that. Type thing. So like that was so cool to like meet people and like have like a connection and stuff. So now I have to message my friend Dustin and say, hey, these people are really cool and you should like do stuff with them. Like they're in your town.
Well, she's a hairdresser, one of only two hairdressers.
In town and stuff. But they're really outdoorsy, and so is my friend Dustin and his wife. Like they hike and ski and do all this stuff. So super cool. That was neat to connect with them and have a connection that way. That was neat.
It's weird when you meet people like that. So I remember it's probably going back 20 years now, if not more than that, at a Quick Lube I was managing, and it got taken over by a bigger company. And then so the vice president of the company wanted to shadow us for a couple of days, not to see how we were doing because we were profitable, no issues at all. But he didn't know. He came from the banking industry. He didn't know anything about cars or the Quick Lube business. He was only a money guy. So after a couple of days, just came up, his family had moved down from Ohio, and I'm like, oh, I'm from Ohio, and where are you from? And then he's like, Lancaster, I'm like, well, that's where it's where I'm from. It's where I was born. So my family is still out. And then he had mentioned, he goes, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I don't know anything about the automotive industry. The only automotive knowledge I had is, he goes, as a kid, I would ride my bike down to the Amoco station, and I would pester the owner and just annoy him. And I go, yeah, the Floyd Dobemeyer. And he goes, what? And I go, that was my grandfather. He owned the only Amoco station, it around. And he goes, yeah, my mom bowled with his wife. And I go, yeah, Betty, my grandmother. And it was like, oh, wow. It was this weird connection that when he was a kid, he used to ride his bike, because I didn't know my grandfather. He died when I was really young. So it's like he used to ride down to the Emeco station and
That's
pester
awesome.
pester old man Floyd,
Wait,
about cars and stuff.
But I always find this weird when you say where you're from, and I know you were born in Ohio, but you didn't live there, so like you were 3, so you couldn't possibly remember.
We had this discussion the other night.
No, that's where I'm from, though.
Where
Yeah,
you
but
from?
it just
Where you're from?
I
Where you're
get
born.
that.
You lived there for
Yeah.
24 hours.
I don't
you're
know.
still
I
from
find
there.
that
Yeah, I was born in Ohio, raised in Florida.
Okay,
You know,
I don't
so,
know.
yeah.
I don't know.
So
I
he's
guess
from
it's just,
Ohio.
it's
Ask you
just
where
so,
you're from. Just Jen had to, and we actually had this discussion the other night. Is because Joseph and stuff were like, "Where are you from?" And Jen's like, "It's where you're born. I don't care if you're
I'm
there
not
for
from
24
South
hours."
Carolina.
See,
I'm
Graham
from-
doesn't think that way. Graham was born in Jersey, but he tells everyone he's from Florida
No.
because he basically lived here
Wrong.
his whole life.
He's
Doesn't matter.
embarrassed of Jersey.
No, he's not embarrassed of Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, he doesn't remember. I mean, he was a
Yeah.
baby. We moved when he was 1.
He was still born there, though.
Yeah, he doesn't
It's on
care.
his birth certificate.
See, I didn't
Yeah.
know.
You're
I didn't.
from.
I didn't know you were from Lancaster.
Yeah.
I'm from the next town over.
What town is
In
that?
PA?
No, in
Yeah.
Ohio. No,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm from Lebanon, and
Yeah.
the next town over is Lancaster.
Yeah.
So,
PA.
I'm
Or-
surprised you
or
say it
there's-
that way because in Pennsylvania it's usually Lancaster.
No,
No.
it's not. Actually,
you say-
I was
say
just getting ready to
Lancaster?
Yes.
it's when you get down south. Now there's
Yeah,
a
that's what it
Lancaster.
changes.
There's a Lancaster in South Carolina. Actually, it's where Chris lived.
Okay.
From Amendola Cigars.
Mhm.
Where
Okay,
you
yeah,
down
it's usually
there.
Lancaster or
It's-
Lancaster.
It's Lancaster to everyone
Yeah.
else, but when you're from where we are, it's Lancaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not.
and also
it's
we
not
saw
Lebanon.
we
it's
saw
Lebanon.
Jeffrey and Chris.
Yeah.
while
It's
we
what
were
you
down
call it, Lebanon.
Lebanon. That's,
Lebanon?
that's why all the
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Dutch say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lebanon.
Okay, yeah, because my buddy Brian is from Lebanon. Lebanon, Indiana, but he says Lebanon.
Yeah, it's the same thing because no one
Yeah.
say Lebanon because you say Lebanon, they think you're from Lebanon,
The
but it's
country.
the same thing. I mean, that's where they got the
Yeah.
name from.
And people always like Gabby was born here in Florida, and then Wyatt was born in North Carolina.
So Wyatt's from North Carolina. Gabby's from Florida.
Yeah.
Graham's
But-
Graham's from Jersey.
Yeah, but Graham will tell you he's from Florida.
No.
I tell people I live in South Carolina, but I'm from Pennsylvania. I mean, it's but
I lived all over the place, so I mean, I'm from Jersey. I am Jersey. I can't. You can't take that out of me. Like it doesn't matter if I. Well, sorry, not sorry. But I'm just saying, like, I do know because I was born and raised there. Like, I lived there for a very long time. It'd be weird if I was like Graham, like, who was born there but doesn't even remember it. Like, I guess I would just say where I pretty much grew up is where I'm from. That's what I would probably have done, too. So I understand why he says Florida, because that's really all he knew.
Get specific. I'm born and raised. I mean, I lived in Pennsylvania till I was, I moved down here. It's going to be 11 years, probably till I was 40.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean,
I've been down here for over 10 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, I lived all over Pennsylvania. I'm from that Lebanon area, but where I lived in my hometown, I only lived until I was 18.
Right.
And then I went to school in Delaware, and I came back home, but I pretty much lived in Delaware at school for 5 years. And then from there, I lived outside of Philly. I lived in Reading.
Yeah.
And I lived there for years. I lived in Pittsburgh for 5 years. I lived in Harrisburg for the longest time. I lived there for like 12 plus years or whatever, and been down here for 10 years.
Yeah, I lived, in Jersey, and then I lived in two or three different parts of Jersey, and then I lived in New York for a little bit. Then I lived in like 4 or 5 different parts of Florida, then North Carolina, and I had moved a couple times to different towns in North Carolina. I lived in Oceanside, California for a very short period of time. And then I also moved back here to Florida and lived in like 3 or 4 different places. So
I told Jen, kids get older, I would love to move down to Tampa.
I'll do it if I have a house with a pool.
I want a pool. I think
I'm not a sociable person.
I think I'm at
so
the point now where I'll deal with the heat and humidity.
That's
and have
I'd be okay
and
with
have
it.
no cold or very little. Especially
see, now I'm trying to get him to move to North Carolina.
And people always say, like in the cigar industry, like there's a few people there, that had lived. Mickey Pegg, Jeffrey Amendola. A lot of people like they wanted to move to like West Palm and Miami, and then like all the traffic and headache, and even Ronnie had talked about
I would
moving
hate
to
to
West,
live in Miami.
like West Palm, and then even he goes, I'm going to check out Tampa, and I'm like, Tampa is a lot better,
but she'll never move. So
no, never.
I'll never move. Going down to Miami and visiting there, I was like, no. I mean,
well, Chris and Stephanie just made the transition over, and Chris said that they're settling in pretty well.
But he's not in Miami though.
No, but they're
I forget.
But that whole area is insane. It's sanity.
So ridiculous. I mean, I hated the traffic in Pittsburgh. And I lived there for 5 years because that was just a madhouse when you have freaking 2 bridges and a tunnel to go through just to get to work.
Yeah.
And it was just freaking that funnel, and then it gets freaking, backlogged and bottlenecked. But I actually, when I lived, pretty much did up in the DC area for a year. Actually, I liked the traffic in DC better than I liked traffic in Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If it moved and it flowed and it was just very big road.
Because people know, get
but Pittsburgh was just like, I just hated the freaking traffic there. It was a nightmare. It really was. But
I know. I'll tell you, Kevin had a few heart attacks while
it's just the traffic down in West Palm, Miami. I don't know how people live down there, and
I can't do that.
And if you're moving down, why not Tampa? Because it's in the middle of the state. You can be in Miami in 3 hours.
Yeah,
or you can be in Georgia in 4 hours.
Yeah,
I would exactly. I want to live somewhere because I like living in Greenville.
A lot of people,
I really do, because we are close to everything.
Accessible.
We're 2.5 hours from Atlanta. We're an hour and a half from Charlotte.
Right.
We're an hour from Asheville. We're 3 hours from Charleston.
Right.
I could be on the West Coast, or I could be on the coast of Carolina in 4 hours, 4.5 hours. I just really like where we live because it is very accessible to a lot of areas. I mean, we could be an hour north and be in freaking Charlotte, a big old city, or I can go an hour southwest and be in some of the freaking banjo fucking picking areas.
Yeah, Tennessee is up against that.
Yeah,
I think that's why we like being in Sarasota, is because we are really accessible. We have a lot of access to a lot of things.
Yeah, we're an hour from Tampa. We're 3 hours from West Palm. 3
hours from Orlando.
3.5 to Miami. 3 hours to Orlando.
Right. Those are all day trips, man.
Yeah. 3.5
go to events and do day trips.
Yeah, we could go to Daytona Beach for the day, spend a half a day, and come home that night. But
you had mentioned Mickey Pegg. I got to talk to him.
You did, because Kevin is not a good relayer of messages.
Yeah. Mickey,
you should have heard the conversation. Kevin asked him about playing football and stuff, and then he was like, "Well, I can't remember what Kerr said." I'm like, "Then why did you bring it up?"
Well, then I did talk to him again and told him
that Kerr played football.
And Mickey's like, "Man, can't believe somebody remembered me from Division III football."
Yeah, we played them. I think I played him all 3 years he played. I think you said he played 87, right? Or 88?
He said he played 4 years in something like 87, 88.
Don't ask
89.
Kevin Kerr. Just reach out to Mickey.
So I
I
probably played against him for 2 years because I started in 89 and played 89, 90, 91, 92. We played Catholic University 3 years when I was there. I think it was 3 years or 2 years we played them. We played them once at our place. I think we played them twice down there. I can't remember, but
I wonder if it's public, if you could go on Catholic University, find photos.
I tried looking for him. I could not find anything because I don't even know what position he played.
Yeah,
and it's really weird when you find that stuff because I worked for a guy. He became my manager. I was at a pharma company, and we started talking. And he played for a team that we used to scrimmage every year. And we played 4 years against each other. And he was a lineman, and he started. And I was like, son of a bitch. And when I looked at his face, I was like, I recognized the face to the face mask because it was just a distinctive look. And it's really funny when you can run into people like that.
How is young Joe doing with his job and everything? Good, still working.
Yeah, he's doing well. Tomorrow's his first track meet.
Nice.
Varsity track. He's doing the 200, 400, and he just made it on to the relay team. So he's excited about that.
That's awesome.
So hopefully, see what time I get out of work. I'd like to get over to the high school where it's at tomorrow. But, he works 2 days a week with school. We're 3 weeks away from end of third quarter, which just
it's
blows my
great.
mind.
You guys have March Madness too, right?
And he uses the car all the time. So like there's been
yesterday
twice was it this week?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday was a big day where I was like, I got some downtime 3 times in the day. I'm like, I got some downtime. I'm gonna go get some cigar. And I looked out, freaking
there's
nothing.
No car.
Because there's
Puppy, let's go.
Because there's
on, Coop.
I was like, I either got to get on Wyatt's bike and freaking BMX it down to the freaking cigar shop. But I got to go up to a cigar shop because there's 2 more cigars I got to get for the blind 5.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get for you guys, and I got to go up to Tobacco Plus and get them. And the 3 times I actually had time to get the cigar, I literally stood up to go and I looked out in the driveway. I'm like, that little bastard.
Because he drives to school. Since Kerr's working, he works from home. He drives to school, and then if he only works one day, like tonight he worked, because 4 days he's in practice for track or has track meets. So he'll just go.
I need one of those DUI scoots that they do.
Little scooty.
The little scooters everybody drives around here when you have a DUI. Yeah. License. You see dudes like driving in
like
scoots.
a Vespa.
Yeah, that'd be funny. A Stogie Road Vespa.
I would.
Yeah, so that would be actually cool.
Out.
He does that, and then because on his license in South Carolina, when it's your first year, there's a restriction where he can't drive after 6 p.m. But if you get a letter from work plus a parental letter, they'll extend it till midnight, so this way he's able to drive it
for work. Nice. For work, it's supposed to be for work, but boy, oh boy,
with school though too. He
cares like he's joyriding.
Yeah, well,
his friends live like down the street, but
Saturday night when he's hanging out with his friends till 11:30, that's not a work trip.
He has to be home by midnight. But anyway, like on Saturdays, he'll get up and he's like, I'm going to, see Pop at the bagel shop. And goes down and sees cute. My dad and stepmom. And
real cute, because then I'm stuck without a car.
Well, we have, unless I'm
Uber,
on call,
Care,
he
Uber.
can just use
drive
the
Jen.
Bronco, or we go out. So usually
I can't use the Bronco because I can't smoke a cigar in a Bronco.
No.
I haven't even put a sticker on it yet. It really has to be the
talk
right
about stickers on a car, Kevin.
I
wanted sticker. No stickers on my car, and then Kevin puts a friggin' sticker on my car. I think it was for the sheriff thing.
It has to be the perfect sticker, and I don't know what I want for it. I have to design a new Stogie Road one. Maybe I'll do Cooper. I don't know. It's just tough to say. It's such a great looking vehicle.
I don't know. I just think you're being really kind of odd about it.
I'm not. It's a difficult decision.
I agree with you, Jen.
It has to match.
Joe took over my car, and it was like I had
clean.
I had the cigar stickers on there, and he keeps them on there, so he puts his other stickers around it. And then I had
there's some funny ones.
I used to have 3 of the purple minions as for Emma, Wyatt, and Joseph. And throughout the years, they've gotten a little worse. They've got worn. It's like one of them's got a half a head, and the other one's got one arm. And I'm like,
the family one.
Have the family
There's
one.
All of us.
There's all of us. The whole family.
Minions.
And I'm just like, Joe's like, hey, I want to take those off.
I said no.
And I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to keep them on there. He's like, my friends make fun of them. I go, do your friends have a car? He goes, no. I said, then tell them to fuck off. They don't have a car,
Yeah.
So basically one day I was like, I took off the purple minions, the remaining, it wouldn't even look like minions, it looked like pieces of minions.
Yeah.
But the family minions are still staying on there. And I cleaned it off. I said, there you go, Joe. You have a new area. I said, the family minions are staying. I said, and if I hear any more shit about it, I'm gonna fucking put a big J on the freaking goofiest minion and you can tell your friends it's you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, I know you're weird about the car.
Well, it's always a difficult.
She likes the car more than she likes me.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't a huge.
It's a tough sticker. It's what do you put and where do you put it?
I don't know. I've never cared like on a car. Like I
care.
I put a scratch on it. Fuck it. It's a car. It's going to get scratched. It's going to get a little dent. Stickers. Whatever. It's just me.
I don't
Do you
know.
realize she's going and looking at how to
Yeah,
how to
well,
buff-
because it's my own fault. When we had like that 6 inches of snow a month or so ago, and there's a lot of snow and ice on the Bronco, I got the ice scraper to try to get the first level of ice off the windows, and I went over too much. And you have what they call the piano keys, the black plastic.
Yeah.
plastic strip to protect.
And I hit it with the scraper, and I'm like, fuck. And I can see the line. So I go to the next window and I did it again. I'm just like, I really wanted to just
Now, mind you,
bang
this did
my
not
head
put
on the ground.
this didn't put a dent in the car.
No.
It didn't put a gouge in
But
the
I have
paint.
no scratches on the vehicle.
It didn't put anything on it. It put an area that if I go get probably some freaking cream and a buffer will buff. I mean, just this very small. It's almost a discoloration.
No,
that's about this
There's
big.
scratches.
And
they're not deep though.
You would have thought that freaking someone at Walmart ran a freaking card into the side of the car.
Well, when someone hit me and I finally was able to get that dent that somebody put in my car from when they opened it or put a cart, like it must have hit and dinged my car, remember? And I was so pissed. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this car had no issues, no scratches, nothing. And there was this little dent. But then when someone hit me, I had to get the whole door replaced. And now I have no scratches or no dents. But I'm weird about stickers. Like if I wanted stickers on my car, I would put them on there. Like I would have decked it out and done all of that. And I love stickers, but I didn't want any stickers on this car. I wanted it to just not have anything. And what does Kevin do? Fucking slaps a Sarasota County Sheriff sticker on the
Just
back
to
of my
protect
fucking
you.
car.
Well,
That's it. Because I belong to the
No,
I belong
but
to
it
the Florida
doesn't
Sheriff's
matter.
Association.
I don't fucking care. It's my car, and I didn't want any goddamn fucking stickers on it.
It's the
Period.
sheriff's department sticker to support
I don't
human
care.
trafficking.
Technically, it's
I
our
don't-
car. My name's on
Shut
it.
up,
It's
Kerr.
our car. My name is on it. It's our car.
So when I went for the first oil
So
change,
then, is my name on your car?
No.
But you're on it
'Cause that's
for
my
insurance. It's not your car. You're on the insurance. So you're not on my car. I pay my car.
Yeah, I'm on the title to your car.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
How are you on the title to my car?
I'm on the title to your car.
No, you're not. You're on the
You,
insurance.
you want to bet?
No, because I don't know how that. I don't know how you would be. That's weird.
You put his
Because
name
I
on
bought
it.
the car, but I pay the pay. You're not on my bank pay. You're not on any. of
Yeah,
that.
I was.
You
the
don't have to be.
I was the co-signer on your
You
car.
were not a
I
co-signer.
was.
Okay, we'll have this conversation.
This is the
later.
first
I'm
time
pretty
I
sure
have-
That's
this-
not.
It's the first time I've never owned a vehicle.
You
My
really?
name my
Yeah, the
name's not on
calipers
anything.
paid off. That was my original.
It's the first
car.
time since I think I was when I graduated college, I bought my first car. I've always had a car no matter what. It's the first time I've never owned a car.
Really? Wow.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep. I mean, even when I was married prior and I had a company car,
Yeah.
I bought the car. My name was on the
Yeah.
car. I always
Holy
had my
shit.
name on a vehicle since I was 21. Actually, even I think my name was on a Jeep, so it was probably when I was 20. But it was really weird. It was like, okay, I traded in my vehicle. Jennifer got this car. Her name's on loan. Her name's on the caliper because it was her vehicle.
Right.
I'm just some freaking bum that's an extra name on the insurance card.
But I'm like, the scratches bother me so much, or abrasions, whatever you want to call it. When I took it for its first
bruise.
oil change, like I have to say the mechanics, the technicians there were great. Really liked me,
Nice.
humored me. But they were saying because the plastic's very soft, that's the biggest issue that they've had with the exterior of this vehicle is it's easily scratched.
So there's other
So is
nut
there
jobs
any-
like you.
So there's
complaining
a lot
about
of
the
other
little-
nut jobs. Well, yeah, they said it's not nail deep. So he goes, it should buff out fairly well.
like
we can
Kerr
do it
said.
there.
I
but they
toned it
said
down with some nose grease.
that grows the shit out of me that he's using his facial grease.
That's an
to-
old trick.
to wipe it off.
When I sold cars, if there was
Why
that's
don't you
a-
grab some snot? Like,
I
Oh
will.
God.
That was an
Oh
old
my
trick
God.
when we used to sell cars. If there was a scratch on the car, but it was your nail couldn't catch it. I learned it from my freaking manager. He actually pretty fucking gross. He put his hand in his ear
oh.
and did that
Ah.
and buffed out a freaking
So
scratch
why
on
don't
the
you
car.
why didn't you guys just have wax or something
Well,
that you could
the
use?
problem, the one thing that I don't
because
wanna
she
have
won't
in
let
his-
me near it.
Well, no, there was one.
Not
thing that
after
they
my
told us
nose.
to do.
Not after my nose grease.
I don't want to see swirls in that. he says there's going to be 2 issues that they've had.
I need to go to a professional.
No, if they did it there, they feel that the heat that they would use in the body shop would probably warp it. So they would have to do it by hand. He goes, but then they're going to charge you for it. He goes, use 70% isopropyl with a soft rag, and that should take it out. I just haven't bought 70% isopropyl.
And she's
yet.
probably too chicken to do it.
No,
and I'm not going to do it. You're going to do it. So if it screws
Worst
it
case,
up,
I'll buy new 2 piano key panels and have them installed.
you will
But
not.
I also, the other reason going back to stickers, I don't want to put a sticker on yet, is seeing what the value of used of our vehicle is still going for.
Yeah.
By the fall, if it's still like that, there's a damn good chance we're upgrading to the full size 2-door. So I don't want to start putting things on there.
I get that,
but I would really,
because stickers.
I want to try to keep
you know how many
it in
cigars
great
it would cost?
condition.
You know how many cigars 2 extra plastic pieces of piano, whatever.
I'm not actually going to do that, but that's an option. It's just
you already have the
to,
freaking flares for the window that you bought. That
I do want to put them on. I keep looking at them, and I know they're the low profile. It matches the bug guard, and I've seen pictures of it, and I think it's worth it because it does match.
Then you can have the shop put it on. They'll put it on for you.
But it would cost money. What? We can do that if we could put the front.
Oh, sure, we could do that. Famous
if
last
we
words.
did
we could do it.
The bug guard, the window guards aren't going to be any harder.
I put on the bug guard. Of course, it's not going to be harder for you.
And I assisted in that. You didn't do it by yourself.
You did assist me. I keep forgetting that.
That's right. It's
sometimes
it's more than a
car.
one person.
Is that even, Jen? No, move it over a little bit. Thank you. You do have a good eye for that.
I love my car, and I have
feel
no
like you're being
desire of getting
sarcastic
rid
when
of
you
it. But
help
Kevin
or
will
help
trade a
you.
car in like all the time.
Every couple.
I
years.
love this vehicle.
I love my car.
It drives great. The color is just perfect. I love the interior of it. So it would be a tough thing to upgrade it. It would have to be absolutely perfect. I've even used the sunroof at times now too, just to get air in.
Yeah, I still like sunroofs.
But actually, I have a question, Kevin, because it's automotive. The roof racks that go on a vehicle like this, does it inhibit the sunroof from opening?
No.
Or is there enough of a gap?
Yeah, there's always enough of a gap.
I was just wondering, like, if
I mean, inhibit the sunroof. It goes inside.
it still has to pop up though
The
at
front.
a certain point. So I didn't know where that
Just
was.
the front just
on
pops up
there.
a little bit to redirect the air, so it doesn't make the noise, but it goes inside the.
Okay. I wasn't
roof.
sure. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
some
asking
of them
for
go
information.
inside. Yeah, some of them go inside the roof. Some of them do pop up on the,
Yeah, but this isn't one of them. I've
Yeah.
seen them before. I mean, even a lot of aftermarket sunroofs are all external pop out.
Because I was
Yeah.
thinking, like, with us traveling in the summer, if we had to, as an option, to at least get the rails, but then I'm like, I don't want to screw up our roof with it. So that's why I asked.
Oh,
I
you didn't
know.
get. They didn't come with rails. It just come.
It
with
has the
two-
side.
Yeah, the
Yeah, you
side
need to
one.
get the middle
You need to
part.
get the middle part.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously they have baskets and stuff, but I just wasn't sure. Like
Yeah.
when I see it open, I'm like, oh well,
I'm sure they
Where
factored
would-
that in when they built the car.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder.
Yeah,
It's people that get aftermarket freaking sunroofs and don't put thought into it, and freaking are aftermarket products
Yeah.
that are like, oh
yeah.
shit.
And then when you're putting stuff in it, like on mine, I have two sunroofs. So on the back one, if I strapped anything to the roof rack, I just got to make sure it doesn't drop down below
Yeah.
because like the back one does pop up.
Yeah, but you
So
never
if you had
open
something,
them.
yeah. So if you had something dipped down, it could inhibit from there.
Yeah.
So you just got to
Mhm.
make sure it goes straight across.
Yeah, I open mine occasionally.
Yeah, I've never had my back one open ever.
Yeah,
Really?
it's weird to have two. I feel like that's weird.
I
It's
love
because
that.
it's because it's dumb because they don't get the driver the control of the back one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
So
odd.
so I can control the front one.
Oh, that's
They're like,
stupid.
Yeah, like why can't I control
that
the
is
back
dumb.
one?
You
That's
should
really
be able to do
stupid.
both.
Yeah.
I
but
need to get
whatever.
that battery post.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I love sunroofs. I do.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than.
That's
a
why I
Mustang.
always, as much as I know Jeeps are Jeeps, but I always wanted a Jeep when I was young. Like always wanted a Jeep, so I could ride around with top off and no door, like just be open and stuff. But I see them now as an adult, and I'm like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like that just seems like a lot of work to
Well, the newer ones, I think that I had an old Jeep. I had a 79.
I just always wanted a Jeep.
So it was literally, I had a soft top and it was a production. Get the poles, put it in the freaking thing, snap everything into place. And then the girl I was dating had a newer Jeep where literally you just took the top, that tucks in, and then it just has this thing that just rolls it all the way back.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I think you had to take unzip the back windows, and then that was it. And then you could take it was half doors, and then the top half was canvas, and you just had to pop them off, and that was it. It was so much faster. So when it rained, all you had to do was just grab a bar and pull the roof up, and it came up like a canopy and tuck it in. Where in mine, when it rained, it was just like, fuck it, I'm going to drive in the rain, because by the time I get the roof on this Jeep, I don't have, it was a 79, it was an old one. I didn't have,
like my brother's.
I didn't have carpet, it was an old Jeep, so it definitely had rusty holes. So I had, the water ran right through the holes that were in the floorboards. And it was just a beater car, Jeep like that. And then when I got a hard top on, it was completely different,
I know. Maybe when we win the lottery, I'll get a Jeep one day. But
they're like a freaking mortgage.
They're ridiculous.
Everything.
I really couldn't believe how expensive those were.
Even a used one. Excuse me.
Well,
it's everything.
Horrible.
The local GMC dealership I showed Jeff the other day. They sent me. The new 2022 GMC Sierra Denali's.
So pretty.
And I'm like, that's awesome. Starting, $75,000 to start, fully loaded.
It's a beautiful truck, though.
$110,000, fully loaded.
It's beautiful.
75 grand, we could buy 2 acres of land and freaking Traveler's Rest.
Honestly, I probably could get a good chunk of change for my Denali, but then what do I get? Then I start all over with another big, huge payment plan? No. Like mine's almost paid off. So
they're doing 7-year loans now.
Yeah, Karen. 7 years.
7 years, and they're
7 to 10,
and they're talking about like 10-year fucking notes. That's 10 years on a vehicle. That is not designed to last 10 years.
They are even doing like these. I think we ended up getting it was like these hybrid loans that kind of act like a lease up front. So it's lower payments up front, but then get progressively higher, like a balloon loan.
Yeah.
But I also think ahead of thinking, okay, especially a car like this, if you get a longer loan and I'm going to trade this thing in and it's going to hold its value, we're not going to put a lot of miles on it. I'd rather do a longer loan and put extra money on it and pay down the principal on the car and then trade it in a couple of years instead of saying, no, I'm going to take a 4-year loan and pay freaking $900 a month.
It's insane.
Or put down $5 grand. I never understood this, and we had family members who did this. You get money. I owe 12 grand on the car. I'm gonna pay off the vehicle.
Yeah,
why would you invest in a depreciating asset? And whenever you put your money down on a vehicle to lower your monthly, you're investing thousands of dollars into a depreciating asset. It's not like a home where it appreciates. It's a depreciating asset. And we had people come to our lot and want to pay cash for a car. I'd talk them out of it and get them in a loan because they could take that money and invest it and get a higher, back then you could get a higher interest rate, higher yield on the money you invested, as opposed to the interest that you're paying on the car loan.
On the car.
Oh yeah. She's got like 2.25% on hers. I think I'm at 3% on my loan.
Yeah.
Why would I pay cash for a car? Well, 3%. I'd make that money work for me and get more than 3%. If you had that, my car was $30,000 even. So I could make that 30 grand work for me and make it pay for the car.
Right. And if you could get that loan, and like I said, if you get that loan and you get that over 10 years at a low interest rate like that, I'm like, the amount of money that I'm paying towards the interest is greater than, well, actually it would be less than the depreciation of the vehicle. So by the time I want to trade that vehicle in, even though I'm paying the majority of the money towards the interest up front, it's 2%. It's nothing. It just doesn't make sense to do that. So it needs to be a smarter move when it comes to longer loans. You know, it's got to be a really good interest rate and it's got to make sense. But I don't see a problem with that. But there are people we've seen them.
Yeah.
They're freaking sitting in a fucking pickup truck, brand new. And I'm looking at the thing going, how that's an $80,000 vehicle, because it's just not the base model. That thing's got all the bells and whistles, but you'll put down $5,000, you'll do a 10-year loan, and you'll still have $700 a month payments. It's amazing.
It's insane. It's the same people that also will refinance their house to pay off credit card debt, and then they'll roll an auto loan into that. I'm like, why would you're paying on that car for 30 years? That car is going to be long gone, and you'll still be paying for it.
We got a lot of people come in with that too. Oh yeah, we got the home equity loan for my car. Why?
Yeah.
I said, why don't you take that money and invest it in your home, which will appreciate your freaking property more than what this vehicle costs, plus the interest that you'll pay if you get a loan through me. It doesn't make sense to do that.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, I didn't look at it that way. I'm like, well, of course you didn't, because you're getting this money that you think is free because it's freaking tied into the freaking value of your home.
So let me ask you though. So when people go through like a finance advisor or they help you with your credit and they lump it all, that's bad?
No, you're talking about
That's
a consolidation loan. And that's basically we've done that and
where
I've done that.
You're paying everything off and then you pay that payment.
It's basically saying, okay, I got $50,000 worth of debt, and out of that $50,000 worth of debt, my monthly payments, if I add up all my minimum payments, is $500 or $1,000 a month. Okay, but making a minimum payment on that debt, you're not going to pay that debt off for 20 years. Some credit cards, especially when you get the credit cards, right? So you're sitting there, go, okay, great, well. That's $1,000. I can get a $50,000 loan at a great interest rate. I'll pay $900 a month, and it's 5 years. So I know all my debt will be paid off in 5 years.
Okay, gotcha.
And instead of saying, okay, monthly payment, and even if you have the ability with your income to debt ratio, it's even smarter. Even if it's the same amount of money, if you're looking at minimum payments on credit cards and such, and you get a loan and guaranteed to pay it off in 5 years versus just paying the minimum off and looking how long it'll take to pay off that loan will take 15, 20 years. It's just smarter to do that. And debt consolidation, like some of the folks you can go to, that's just not a regular loan. Like if you go, listen, I got a shit ton of debt. I can't afford it. They actually negotiate on your behalf and they get a lower interest rate to pay back your debt, and then they pay it, then you pay them directly.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I use those coupons from like my credit card companies all the time. 0% interest for like 12 months. I buy like inventory with those, and then I have never once paid a dime of interest. It's like I'm going to use your money for a year. It's just absolutely dumb. Same thing with like at Tires Plus. We have our Tires Plus credit card. It's 6 months, same as cash or whatnot. So I'll put tires on my car or her cars or the kids. And then I automatically set up the payments to where I've never paid a dime. So when you can use somebody else's money for as long as possible, tell people to go use somebody else's money, especially if it's free. It's literally free. No interest.
Do it with furniture too. It's $3,000 worth of furniture, interest free for 3 years, blah blah blah. Why wouldn't you? It's interest free. It's basically saying, instead of me giving you one lump, I'm going to spread it over a period of time. And
but they're hoping for how many people don't make it. How many people? Because that very first month, all that interest backs up.
Yep, it's all backfill. All that time it's in there. And actually, when I first joined my company, they used to let us use. We used to get company credit cards, but they allowed people to use their personal credit card because we used to submit our expense reports through a spreadsheet and staple some receipts to it and mail it in there. And my manager used his own credit card because we traveled a lot when I first started. He used to get fucking so many miles because he used a card.
Yeah.
And he just got so many miles on his card. Now, I didn't have my own credit card. And I didn't want to do that. I got a company credit card, but how many freaking nights did I get from? Because I always made sure I stayed at a Marriott.
Yep.
So I had so many days. I was at one point titanium tier.
Jesus, that's
I didn't know
funny.
there's a fucking titanium tier on that. I thought it was cool when I hit platinum or whatever the hell I was, but they're like, no, you're titanium. It was pretty much, I'd roll into a Marriott and they'd say, okay, do you want this little bag with a cookie and a bottle, or do you want extra points? I was like, give me the extra points. I always took the extra points every time. And then I had free access to the freaking, the concierge, and would just drink beer for free and eat food for free.
I can't remember the name of a movie, but it was funny about the points. Like he had all these miles, and he had got all these miles for so long, and then he couldn't use. They weren't worth shit when he went to go use them or something. And he had like a nervous breakdown. I cannot remember what movie it was. But
that happened to me.
Hilarious.
I got a free ticket because we were going to fly out to Vegas for a meeting, and my buddy and I were at the bar, and and they said, listen, we're looking for 2 people to give up their seats. You're not going to make this flight. We have another flight in 2 hours. Okay, great. What's the arrival time? The arrival time was like 30 minutes later. It was negligible. And we're like, 2 hours of extra drinking at the bar? And they go, what do we get for it? They're like, we'll give you a free voucher to fly anywhere in the U.S. We're like, I never used a voucher, but we sat there and drank it. And we got in the plane. The pilot's like, oh, we're going to get in early. So we got in the same time we would have gotten in with the original flight.
I think maybe it was the movie Duets.
Is that with Gwyneth Paltrow and Huey Lewis?
Yeah, and then
why do I know that? I'm embarrassed.
Because that's the name of the song that they did together.
Yeah, they did a song together.
I don't know why.
But like the one character guy who was like, he was like a business guy or whatever, and he had been traveling, and he meets up with like a criminal or whatever, and he like has a midlife crisis, and he had all these points, and like they won't let him use it at the hotel or something, and he like loses his shit.
I remember the one Adam Sandler did, and it was like one of his first serious roles, and it was about the guy that took advantage of like the pudding cups, and like you buy like the I don't know if it was Jell-O or the pudding cups, and you redeem like the tops of them, but there was no limit, and he went like everywhere, state after state, buying all these pudding cups because like the value for like the points was like 100 times more than what
What movie is that?
I don't know what that is.
And it was an Adam Sandler movie, and I can't remember the name of it.
Paul, was it Giamatti?
Yeah, Paul Giamatti.
That's who has like the nervous breakdown
he's
over
great.
the fucking points. He was fucking hilarious in this movie. He was like, oh, like I had all these points. He like has like a midlife crisis.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's such a great actor.
He's
God
pretty
almighty.
hilarious. Yeah,
I don't remember.
It was all about karaoke. Like they all went there like for this like Gwyneth finally like looks for her dad or whatever, who ends up being what the hell's his name? That
Huey
singer.
Lewis?
Huey Lewis, ends up being the movie.
I don't know the movie. I don't know why.
You know the song.
I do not know the song.
Yeah, the song they did it together
song,
like
it's a duet, so yes.
Cruising Together, whatever the song is.
Stupid.
Like.
I don't know. I don't know why I know that.
Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love. I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
Yeah,
I tried watching Spanglish with him. It was like one of his really like.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah, that Duets movie actually was pretty good. It wasn't terrible. It was, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it reminds me of the. I was just reading like a couple weeks ago, and it was I forget what airline it was, American Airlines, whatever that. This is going back 20 years ago. They offered a unlimited flight for the rest of your life, and it was one ticket, and it was like $250,000. You had to buy it, but you got free air travel, no blackout dates for the rest of your life. And they didn't think anybody would buy it or use it.
Somebody did.
Oh, like dozens of people bought it. And like a dozen people, like the one guy that really abused it, like I think whatever American Airlines says that they're pretty sure he has cost them millions of dollars. Because he said like he would go to like Ireland for lunch, and then come back home, and it was just crazy. He's like, I flew everywhere.
Hey, you offer something.
That'd be awesome.
And they finally after like 15 years, they finally just just nixed it.
How can they?
And they just took, I don't know.
It said for life.
I can't remember what it was, but I don't know if they had to pay him out.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
But they nixed it. They said, we're done. No more. But yeah, it cost them like millions of dollars. But yeah, go to like Ireland for lunch, France, everywhere. He'd go for like a
but
day.
If it was already flying there, it didn't really cost them anything.
Yeah, it does. It cost them the price of that ticket for that someone to pay money for.
Cost them that. But that was the thing. There was no blackout dates. Like he could never be bumped. And that was it. And that was like, fucking
hey, Kev, what are you doing? Nothing. Hey, you want to go to Dubai? I'd like to have some breakfast in Dubai.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That's crazy. Oh, well.
All right.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Kerr.
I'm Jen.
And remember, bullies make
good
friends.
From Kev, Jess, Kerr, and Jen, we are the Broadleaf Bullies. Thank you for joining us, and remember, bullies make good friends.